If you think StudyTok is going to be the secret to acing all of your exams, then I'm so sorry, but you're going to have to think again. Let's have a chat about StudyTok and how you can actually use it effectively, because there are a lot of things that are slightly wrong with it that aren't perhaps pushing the right message. So let's go through it. I'm Erin, I'm active on StudyTok, so I feel like I have a couple of things to say about this. My TikTok is the same as this, Erin Mel Study, also on Instagram, but that's new as well, so go follow me there. StudyTok can be great for finding new study tips, for finding study motivation, for hearing from creators that are at universities you want to go to, for example. But there is a bit of a culture of you need to be really perfect in your academics, and I find that people push this narrative where it's like everyone who's on StudyTok is a perfect student, everyone gets top grades all of the time, and of course people are doing very well, because generally if you're very much into studying then you're going to see that reflected in your grades. But it does create this sort of pressure to be perfect in your grades, to be consistently getting, you know, top marks, better than everybody else, and that is never going to be reflected in reality. That is just not possible, because there's always going to be people who are slightly better than you, particularly if you go to an academically rigorous university. If you're at a very academically rigorous school, you're going to find out that lots of people are as into studying as you are, and you've kind of got to be able to reconcile that with the fact that on StudyTok you're constantly being told you want to be the best. And for a lot of people that can be amazing motivation, but I think it can also veer onto the side of being slightly toxic, and not something that you really want to be internalizing. It's so easy to get caught up in the idea that you need a perfect study routine, you need to be studying for 12 hours every single day in order to get good grades. That is just not the case. Focus on progress, not perfection. Make sure that you are doing better one week than you did the week before, incorporating things that are going to allow you to improve, because what works for someone isn't necessarily going to work for you. I also think we need to discuss the productivity hacks that you get on StudyTok, because they can be brilliant. They can be absolutely exceptional. They can also be completely impossible to maintain, utterly unsustainable, and will lead you to burnout if you do them all the time. I have studied for 8 hours a day and shown that if I did that every day, I would be dead. My brain would not be functioning, and I would be a shell of a person. It doesn't happen like that. You showcase the things that perhaps might be a bit more provocative on StudyTok, things like I'm studying for so long, I'm studying in this certain way, but you've got to understand that sometimes that is being done for StudyTok, not necessarily in a way that is sustainable. It's not necessarily what the creators are going to be doing to study for their own exams. There can also be a bit of an illusion that if you follow certain tips and tricks, then that is it, you are guaranteed good grades, and that is never the case. It is always a case of you sustainably and consistently applying different study methods, and you might find something that clicks, that absolutely makes you go, do you know what, I understand how to study now because this is a method that really works for me. And once you find that, that is absolutely brilliant. But don't think that every single tip or trick that you see on StudyTok is going to lead you to have that sort of a revelation. It's just not, because everyone is individual, everyone has different study strategies, and everyone's brain works in different ways. And to find something that really works for you, it can be great to go on StudyTok, it can be great to watch all of these videos, but don't think that they are all going to be a one-size-fits-all solution. Also, StudyTok can be a distraction in and of itself. Scrolling through StudyTok instead of studying, slightly ironic, so it can be a bit of a distraction. I think finding study with me videos can be really, really useful. I'm so tempted to start creating them, but I also don't know how lovely I'm going to look in the middle of studying. But I think making sure that you are not just participating in StudyTok, but you're actually participating in the studying is very, very important. What you should be taking from StudyTok is the motivation and the tips, is the community, but don't think that everything that you see on there is perfect, that everything is ideal, that everything is going to work for you. If you're trying a strategy and thinking, why is this not working for me? It's not because you're stupid, it's not because you're not studying in the right way, it's because your brain works differently to the person who posted that study tip. That is pretty much all you need to understand. So use StudyTok as a source of inspiration, but always think about what works for you and find your own pathways, your own mechanisms to studying really effectively. And that is pretty much all I want to yap about in terms of StudyTok today. So thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe and follow my other socials.